Sunday afternoons in our house always smelled like smoke and rosemary. The backyard grill hissed with fat, meat, and memories. My name's Jordan. I married Claire 7 years ago. That day, I stood in the July sun, surrounded by her parents, 3 siblings, their spouses, nieces, nephews, a drunk uncle named Richie, and one very nosy neighbor. I gripped my tongs like a soldier gripping a rifle, flipping marbled sirloins while pretending not to hate everyone here. Claire had a way of looking elegant even while slicing watermelon with sticky fingers. She wore a pale green sundress, curls bouncing, laughter airy. She had no clue. None of them did. Not even me, not really. Not then. Every sizzle on the grill echoed a part of my brain trying to stay occupied, distracted, far away from the thing that had started weeks before. My hands smelled like garlic. My eyes kept drifting toward the sliding glass doors, through which I caught glimpses of her. Not Claire. Her name was Ava. Claire's cousin. 26. Moved to California after college. Came back 2 months ago, just for a while after a breakup, then never left. Stayed in Claire's childhood bedroom while she figured things out. Red hair like fire. Freckles like spilled cinnamon. Legs like art. The first time I noticed her, really noticed her, I was helping fix the pool filter. She handed me a wrench. Her fingers lingered too long. I told myself it was nothing. Just cousinly kindness. Just her being nice. But it wasn't. Not by the time I found myself thinking about her while lying next to my wife at night, Claire breathing softly, clueless, warm. Not by the time I kissed her behind the garden shed 2 weeks ago. Mouths fierce. Breath fast. Hands desperate. Not by now. Jordan, you okay? Claire's voice snapped me back. She walked up holding a bowl of cut lemons, her gold wedding band catching sunlight. I smiled, nodding. Just making sure I don't burn your dad's steak. You know how he gets. She laughed, leaned in, kissed my cheek, and walked off toward the patio. My skin tingled where her lips touched. Guilt bit into me like a wild dog. I turned the steak over and pretended that moment hadn't broken me a little. Ava sat on the wicker love seat near the fence, legs crossed, sunglasses slipping down her nose, sipping something pink. Her toenails were black. Her mouth was red. She didn't look at me, but she knew. She always knew when I looked. She was everything wrong, exactly when I needed something wrong. The last time it happened was 4 nights ago. Claire had gone to a late meeting. Ava came into the living room where I was half watching some cooking show. She didn't say anything. Just stood there in Claire's robe, untied, bare underneath. My body betrayed me before my mind could protest. No talking. Just tension. Silence. Again. Then guilt. Every single second since I'd been both dreading and craving the next time. I turned the steaks again, flames licking the edges. Someone called out, "Need more charcoal?" I shook my head. I needed air. I needed clarity. I needed to stop. Claire's mom brought out corn on a tray. Kids ran around with sparklers. Richie dropped a beer can. Someone played a Springsteen song too loud on a Bluetooth speaker. And through all the noise, my nerves buzzed, wild and frayed. I checked the meat. Perfect crust. Rare in the center. I was proud of that. Of something. "I'm going inside for the sauce," I said aloud, mostly to no one, but Claire gave me a thumbs up. As I stepped into the kitchen, cool air hit my face, and the scent of citrus cleaner replaced the smoke. I reached for the refrigerator door. Then I heard it. A whisper. A moan. Soft, low, breathless. I froze. The fridge stayed shut. My pulse quickened. The sound came again, from around the corner, where the hallway led to the guest bathroom and Claire's old bedroom. That sound wasn't innocent. That sound had weight. I should have walked away. Back to the grill. To my wife. To normal. Instead, I crept forward. Step by step. My heart beat louder than the creaking floor. Then I heard Ava's voice. Not words. Just a breathy, needy sound. And then another voice. Male. Not mine. My stomach dropped. I moved faster now, instincts overriding shame, anger rising like acid. The door to the guest room wasn't fully shut. A sliver of space let me see enough. Ava bent forward over the bed, her dress pushed up, her face hidden in her elbow, and someone behind her. Not me. I didn't recognize him at first. Short hair, broad shoulders, a tattoo on the back of his neck. He was moving hard, rough, both of them lost in the moment. My mouth dried up. The world tilted. And then I stepped back, quietly, slowly, breath shaking. I walked to the fridge, grabbed the steak sauce with shaking hands, walked back out to the yard. The sun still shone. Kids still screamed with joy. Claire waved at me from across the patio. I raised the bottle like a toast and smiled. The sauce bottle was cold in my hand, but my chest burned. I walked straight to the grill like nothing had happened, like I hadn't just seen Ava, the woman I'd lost myself in, being taken by someone else in the same house where I'd kissed her last week. In the same room where I once pressed my hand over her mouth to stop her moans as Claire's sister passed by the hallway. But that was before. Now she was with someone else. Some tattooed bastard who didn't even shut the damn door. I grinned like a clown and squirted thick streaks of bourbon glaze across the sizzling steak. Claire came over to help plate the grilled zucchini, humming some folk tune under her breath. I mumbled something about turning off the propane and focused on the food. Focused on anything but the image of Ava's bare back, arched in pleasure. For 30 minutes, I existed inside a bubble of fake smiles and sticky plates, people smacking their lips, laughter scraping across my ears like metal. Claire's dad complimented the steak. Her mother said something about second helpings. I couldn't hear it all. My brain looped one scene, one grotesque little movie, over and over. Ava hadn't looked guilty. She hadn't even hesitated. After dinner, the family migrated toward the fire pit. Kids roasted marshmallows. Claire sat on my lap, legs dangling off my thigh. I wrapped an arm around her waist automatically. Her skin felt warm, soft, familiar. The comfort made it worse. Her trust hurt me more than Ava's betrayal did. I caught a glimpse of Ava slipping back into the yard, hair damp, maybe from a shower. She wore different clothes now, denim shorts, a loose white tank top, and walked barefoot across the grass with a plastic cup in her hand. When she saw me, her eyebrows lifted for half a second. No shame. Just recognition. And something else. A challenge? She knew I saw. She wanted me to. Claire rose to go get her cardigan, brushing a kiss across my cheek again. It was habit, but I flinched this time. She didn't notice. Ava did. I stood. Walked across the yard toward the trash bin under the big oak, needing an excuse to move, breathe. As I lifted the lid, I felt her come up behind me. "Your steak was amazing," Ava said. Her voice, silky. Familiar. Not the way it had sounded with him. Not the way it sounded when she whispered my name. "Glad someone enjoyed it," I said, tossing an empty beer bottle into the bin. My tone was sharper than I meant it to be. She tilted her head. "What's that supposed to mean?" I turned. Her eyes locked on mine, green, intense, unreadable. "You know exactly what it means." She didn't flinch. "Did you see?" I laughed. Quiet. Bitter. He didn't even close the door. Ava looked away then, just briefly. "You were busy with your wife. I didn't think you'd notice. That's what we're doing now? Tit for tat." I took a step closer. "You said you weren't seeing anyone else." She shrugged. "And you said we'd stop after the first time. That was what, 3 times ago?" "4, I corrected before I could stop myself. She smiled. A cruel little smirk. "Exactly." We stood there, the warm night buzzing with cicadas, laughter in the background, but our bubble felt cold, private, poisonous. "He's just a friend," she added. "A stress reliever." I shook my head. Then what was I? Her face hardened. "Don't make this something it wasn't. You're married, Jordan. And your family." She chuckled. "Not by blood." "It was still wrong," I said, voice dropping. "You made it feel like it meant something." She stepped closer. Inches away now. Her perfume hit me, lilac and heat. It did. At the time, I hated how her presence still lit something inside me. Even after everything, even after that door, that sound, that man, my body still remembered her. "You're cruel," I whispered. She leaned in, lips brushing my ear. "You liked it." Then she walked off. I stood there for several minutes, trying to breathe through the chaos. Later that night, after everyone left and Claire went upstairs to wash up, I wandered back to the kitchen. Empty wine glasses filled the counter. A sticky ring of barbecue sauce hardened near the sink. I stared at it like it held answers. I hated her. Ava. I hated her for seducing me, for getting inside my head, for making me forget who I was. But I hated myself more. I closed my eyes, tried to remember the first kiss with Claire, her wedding vows, the first night in our shared apartment, the day we adopted our dog. But Ava was louder in my head. I heard footsteps. My first instinct was to turn and hope it was Claire. It wasn't. Ava stood in the hallway, her hair slightly mussed, arms crossed. "Why are you here?" I asked, voice dry. "I forgot my phone," she said. "In Claire's room." I looked at her. The room where we'd kissed for the first time. The room where, 5 days ago, I'd pressed her against the closet door while rain hammered the windows. "Tell me something," I said. "Was it just about power?" She raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "You wanted to see if you could get me to cheat. You didn't actually want me." Ava paused. "That's not fair." "Isn't it?" She walked over, slowly. Too slowly. "You think I faked all that?" "I don't know what to think anymore." She stood inches from me again. Her gaze dropped to my lips. "What if I said I missed it?" I swallowed. "Which part?" She whispered, "All of it." And then, God help me, I kissed her. Hard. Fast. Angry. Desperate. She grabbed my shirt, pulled me close, moaned into my mouth. I lifted her onto the counter. The same counter where Claire often made pancakes on Saturdays. Her legs wrapped around me. Hands roamed. I hated myself. Then, a sound. Footsteps upstairs. Ava pulled back instantly. Jumped down. Straightened her clothes. Vanished through the back door like a ghost. I stood there panting, my heartbeat a drumline in my chest. Then Claire walked in. "Hey," she said, rubbing her wet hair with a towel. "You coming to bed?" I nodded. "Yeah. Just cleaning up." She smiled, kissed my cheek again. And I wanted to cry. Nights in our bedroom used to feel sacred. Safe. The scent of Claire's vanilla body lotion still lingered on the pillowcases. For years, that scent meant peace. Now it felt like proof. Evidence. A soft, feminine reminder of who I was supposed to be with. Who I had promised to love. Who I was cheating in the worst way, quietly, repeatedly, and now, angrily. Claire lay beside me under the white sheets, scrolling through her phone. Her eyes crinkled with sleep, lashes brushing the top of her cheek as she blinked slowly. She looked over at me. "You good?" I nodded, forced a smile. "Tired." She put her phone on the nightstand, turned toward me, arms sliding over my stomach. "We haven't, in a while." Her voice was soft. Hopeful. Vulnerable. "I know," I said, brushing her hair from her forehead. "I'm sorry. Just overwhelmed lately." Her face fell just slightly, but she didn't push. She never pushed. She leaned in and kissed me softly. Her lips were warm. Familiar. She pressed closer, body aligning with mine, and I felt the need to respond, but I couldn't. Not because I didn't want to. Because I couldn't lie to her body. Not while Ava's touch was still tattooed across my skin. I kissed her back gently, pulled her closer, hoping affection could replace desire. That maybe love could undo lust. But the moment passed, the heat died, and she eventually settled into the crook of my arm and fell asleep. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, my jaw clenched so tight it ached. The next day felt slow, endless, ordinary. Emails. Calls. Dull routine. Claire kissed my forehead before she left for the office, told me she had a team lunch and wouldn't be back until late. Her scent clung to my collar. I watched her walk out the door. By 2 p.m., I was pacing the living room. The house was too quiet, too still. Ava wasn't home. The silence felt oppressive. And yet, I kept checking my phone. Around 3:40, a message buzzed through. Ava. Claire gone? Me. Yeah. Ava. I'm in the pool house. Of course she was. I should have deleted the message. I should have ignored it. I didn't. I stepped into the sun-drenched backyard like a man walking willingly toward a fire. The pool shimmered, glassy and still. I moved past the lounge chairs, around the garden bed, and down the narrow path behind the fence where the guest pool house stood. I knocked. No answer. I opened the door. She stood there barefoot, wearing nothing but one of my t-shirts, the one she'd stolen weeks ago and never gave back. It barely covered her. Her hair was wet, dripping onto her shoulders. Her skin glistened. "Hi," she said. I closed the door behind me. She didn't wait. She moved fast, desperate, reckless. Her mouth crashed against mine, and I responded just as hungrily. Hands tangled in hair, clothes peeled away like layers of shame, breath coming fast and shallow. My back hit the wall. Her legs wrapped around my waist. We didn't speak. We didn't need to. We made sounds that would have destroyed Claire had she heard them. Sweat. Teeth. Skin. Need. She pulled my face to her neck. "You feel angry," she whispered. "I am. At me. At myself." Her hips rocked against mine. "Don't stop. I don't care if it's hate. Just don't stop." And I didn't. When it ended, we collapsed onto the couch. Her head on my chest. Our bodies sticky, exhausted, tangled. She traced my ribs lazily with a fingernail. "I missed this. I shouldn't be here," I murmured. "But you are." I stared at the ceiling. Was he better? She turned her head. "What?" "That guy. The one in the room. Was he better than me?" Her brows knit. "You really want to talk about this?" "Answer." She smirked. "He was different." I felt something twist in my gut. "But not better," she added, leaning in to kiss my chest. "You did it to punish me, didn't you?" She shrugged. "You ignored me for a week. Stopped texting. You tried to pretend I didn't exist. Because I was trying to be decent." "You're not," she whispered. "You've never been, not with me." I sat up, pulled on my boxers. "This can't keep happening." She lit a cigarette from the stash she kept in her purse and blew smoke toward the ceiling. "But it will. You're poison. And you're thirsty." I turned, met her gaze. "Why me?" She blinked. "Because you wanted me. And because you hate your perfect little life more than you admit." That hit harder than I expected. I grabbed my shirt and left without another word. That night, Claire brought home Thai food. She wore her hair up in a messy bun, eyes sparkling. "I got your favorite. Extra spicy." "Thanks," I said, forcing a grin. She turned on music. Lit candles. Tried to make it feel like something. Like we were dating again. Like we weren't slowly unraveling under the surface. We ate. We laughed. I asked about her day. She smiled when I reached for her hand across the table. I almost believed it. Until I excused myself to the bathroom and saw the faint red scratch on my neck, Ava's nail. I stared at it in the mirror. One small, damning mark. Like a signature. I returned to the table. Claire's eyes flicked to my throat. "What's that?" I froze. "What?" She reached out. "That on your neck." I slapped my hand over it. "Oh. Must have scratched myself on a branch earlier. I was trimming the hedges." She stared for a beat. "Too long." She dropped it. But I felt the seed plant itself. Doubt. Claire wasn't stupid. She was loyal. Trusting. But she wasn't blind. That night I lay awake again. Not thinking about Ava. Thinking about Claire. About how her kindness was what broke me. How the worse I became, the more she tried to love me. And somewhere in that mess I remembered the moment she said yes. On that bridge in Seattle. In the rain. My voice shaking. Her tears spilling into laughter. That memory used to be sacred. Now it was a knife. I slipped out of bed, quiet, careful, made my way to the kitchen and poured myself a glass of scotch. Outside, the pool glowed pale blue. Inside, my soul rotted. And in the silence, I realized something. I wasn't scared of being caught. I was scared I wouldn't be. The morning after, I woke stiff and hollow. A gentle haze of regret still hovered, thick like smoke over charcoals. I lay beside Claire, her breathing slow and steady. I envied her peace. My phone buzzed next to the bed. I didn't want to look. Didn't want to face whoever had texted me. But I did. Ava, we need to talk. Tonight? Pool house? My gut clenched. I didn't answer. I didn't know what to say. Breakfast was a whisper. Claire's humming, the knife tapping against toast, a few birds chirping outside. My replies were polite, automatic, dully polite. After she left for work, I didn't linger. I finished quickly, pushed the plate aside, and left too. All day, I replayed every moment with Ava. When we'd come together behind the shed, the taste of sweat and pine needles still strong in my mouth. When I'd tasted Claire's perfume just moments later, clean and feminine, and thought I might cry. I hated both. Hated what I'd done. Hated what I'd become. But part of me thrived on the chaos. That afternoon I couldn't focus. Meetings blurred. I stared at the screen, saw Ava's name flash, felt a pulse of heat. I knew I shouldn't, but my muscles tensed when I thought of her. By 6 p.m., I was back in the yard, loading firewood into the pit. Claire would be back soon. Dinner would happen. I needed a distraction. A few logs later she pulled in, keys jingling. She dropped her bag on the kitchen counter, pecked me on the cheek. "Can't wait for dinner tonight." I nodded. She hovered. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said, too fast. Too quiet. "You seem distant." She paused. "Do you want to talk?" I turned wood in my arms. No, the word came out harsher than intended. I saw her lips pressed together, hurt flickering in her eyes. She nodded, stepped back, and went to the house. Inside, I heard the oven beep. She was lighting candles, as she always did. I unloaded wood, stacked it neatly. Each piece a reminder, control, order, maybe redemption. But nothing felt redeemable. Later that night, I met Ava behind the pool house. The moon reflected off the water, pale and deceptive. She waited in the open doorway, arms crossed, backlit. "I can't do this anymore," I began, voice low. She glanced away. "You talk like quittin' is an option." "It has to be." She stepped forward. "No, it doesn't." "It does." I met her gaze. "It can't go on like this. We both want it to go on." She reached for me, but I didn't move. "We both came. Except you cheated twice because you wanted to punish me." My words came sharp, raw. And I kept coming back. "There's pleasure in chaos." She shrugged. "Not wrong." I swallowed back urgency and anger. "What about Claire?" She sighed. "What about her?" She's good. You saw her. She's safe." "Is that a bad thing?" Her jaw clenched. "It's boring." So I seduce you." A ragged laugh escaped me. "Congratulations." "I didn't force you." She touched my face. "You chose." I leaned into her hand. "I'm married. And I'm a hypocrite. It's fun." She leaned in, soft. "Why else?" I closed my eyes. "I don't know who I am." "You know exactly who you want." She kissed me gently. "Something real." I pulled away, desperate. "This isn't real." "Maybe for you." Her voice cracked. "Maybe not for me. But for us." I shook my head. "There's no us." She stepped closer, whispering. "Then what are we?" I swallowed hard. My throat felt dry. My heart raced. It beat faster than it should. I walked away. The night air hit me. Everything hurt. My feet dragged back to the house. Claire sat at the table, candles lit. Plates laid out. Wine breathing in glasses. She looked up. "Dinner." I hung my jacket on the chair. "Of course." We ate in silence. My teeth cut into chicken. I watched her eyes, careful, waiting. I felt heavy, distant, somewhere I didn't want to be. After dinner, she cleared dishes. I followed like a ghost. She paused, looked at me. You're not eating. Just not hungry. She stared at me. Talk to me. I sighed. You deserve better than this. She blinked. Then what? I'm not present. Why? I swallowed. I don't know. She turned toward me. Is there someone else? My pause was answer enough. Her face went still. Are you involved? Answer me. I dropped my eyes. Yes. When she flinched, it was like someone had hit a wound. Who? I swallowed again. Ava. She went still. Dropped dishes. Stepped back. She lied to me. She's your wife, I whispered. Don't make me the victim, she said coldly. I'm not. We never had the chance. You had every chance. I closed my eyes. I'm sorry. Her chest rose and fell. She swallowed and spoke softly. Get out. I didn't fight her. I couldn't. I left. I spent the night in the guest room, lights off, the hum of the AC my only companion. I thought of Ava, of Claire, of every lie, every betrayal. I realized something. I'd crossed a line. There was no going back. A warning, desire dethrones you. I woke in the guest room alone. Heat from the day lingered like a ghost. The sheets smelled faintly of chlorine and regret. No Claire in sight. No Ava. Just me, the hum of the air conditioner, and the dull ache of everything I'd done. I moved slowly, every step a weight. My phone buzzed. 2 missed calls from Claire. 1 text. Claire. Don't. Come. Back. Her words slammed into me harder than any accusation. They echoed through my skull. I knew I'd lost more than trust. I'd shattered it. I wandered outside. The backyard was empty. The barbecue stood cold. Firewood stacked neatly, mocking me with its perfect order. The pool water rippled in the breeze. Sunlight shimmered off the surface, bright and indifferent. I opened the pool house door. It was empty. No sandals, no towels. Nothing. Just silence. I closed it and leaned against the wall, sliding down until I was sitting on the warm concrete, knees drawn to my chest. I thought of Claire's face when I confessed. Her chest tightened. Her voice cracked. She didn't curse me. She didn't scream. She just let it exist. And then sent me away. I felt hollow. Later, afternoon shadows stretched across the yard. I heard a car pull up. I looked toward the driveway. Her car? No. It wasn't her. But it could have been. I paced. Then I saw him. Ava's tattoo-faced man. Leaning at the fence. Arms folded. Watching me. I froze. He didn't move. Just smirked. I didn't know what he wanted. Revenge? Proof? A twisted solidarity? He stepped forward. She told me. My heart sped. Told you what? He looked at me. Not angry. Curious. About us. That warmed something in me. Relief? Panic? She what? He shrugged. That you were her. He hesitated. That you meant something. My pulse kicked. What does that mean? He stood straighter, then turned and walked off, disappearing around the fence's corner. I exhaled a shaky breath. Claire's car appeared 5 minutes later. She sat inside for a moment, silence airless. Then she stepped out. No tears. No tremble. Wrong thing for both of us. Why is he here? I asked, voice ragged. He came to apologize. I gave her a look that burned. He said you meant something more than stress relief. That he resents me. She looked at me. That man you. I shook my head. It was different with me. She stared. Anyway. Don't say it. She walked past me toward the house. I let her go, watched her back fade inside. Days passed, but time slowed. I lived in limbo. The living room became my prison. My phone sat silent. The dishes piled. The mail cluttered. Claire's presence was a void. I called out for her once, into the emptiness. My voice echoed off unseen walls. Then, one evening, Claire knocked on the door of the guest room. I opened it. She stood there, fresh-faced, eyes weary. "I need to tell you something." I stepped aside. She entered. Closed the door. "I talked to my sister." I nodded. "And? She thinks I should move out." "Understood. I'm staying. For now." I looked at her. She breathed in and met my eyes. "But we need rules." My heart thudded. "Rule number 1. No contact with Ava. Period." I swallowed. "Okay. Number 2, counseling. Together or separate?" I nodded again. "Yeah." She hesitated then. "Number 3, you leave in the morning. Clear out your things." "Done." My heart dropped. "You want me gone?" She didn't hesitate. "Yes." Everything in me twisted. I felt loss like a limb, but also relief. I said, "When?" She answered, "By tomorrow." That night I packed clothes, toothbrush, mementos, photos of trips with Claire. The first day we met, our wedding, I packed each like I was severing arms. Outside, the fire pit glowed. I lit it. Flames danced. Shadows flickered across my packed suitcase. Claire came out, wine in hand. She sat across the pit. Silence settled. Finally, she spoke. "Why?" I stared at the logs. "Why did this happen? With her?" She looked away. "Because your perfect life made you doubt what perfection felt like." I closed my eyes. Couldn't argue. She turned her gaze to me. "I loved you. I still do. But love isn't enough." I felt tears, but I refused them. "I'm sorry," I said. "I destroyed it." She shook her head. "We both did." Morning came. Too soon. My car was packed. Gas tank half empty. Keys in hand. Claire stood outside, dawn light haloing her. "I'm sorry," I repeated. She nodded. "Don't come back for now." I stepped in. Car started. I looked back. Her silhouette, framed by the soft pink sky. Static and silent. I pulled away. I drove. No clear destination. Heartbroken, life-torn. In a motel by the highway, I unpacked. Rolled clothes into drawers. Hung a photo of Claire on the bedside wall. I stared at it until sleep came. It didn't come quick. I roused before the sun. The cheap motel's tired curtains filtered light into dusty stripes across the bedspread. I stared at the photograph of Claire taped to the peeling wall. Her smile, the warmth in her eyes, how untouched she once was by pain I inflicted. I felt smaller than the room. The coffee in the lobby tasted like regret, but steadied me. I drove north, no GPS, no purpose, but somewhere between the highway signs I realized something. I carried ashes of my former life in every held breath, every beat. 2. Echoes from the past. 3 days later, I returned to our old neighborhood. Nothing felt the same. Lawns trim. Cars parked. Windows lit in soft hues. I parked a block away and walked. Each step felt like trespassing in my own memories. I saw our house, Claire's car gone. No sign she'd replaced it yet. A note of permanence or maybe pause, maybe life still paused. I touched the front door with a trembling hand. Inside, darkness. Empty. I closed my eyes, inhaled. I heard laughter, imagination, or memory. Saw her dancing in the living room. Released a breath I didn't know I held. 3. The unexpected visit. That afternoon a text. "Claire, we need to talk." At the house. 6 p.m. My heart slammed. I turned around. I hesitated. I drove back. My mind raced through every possible scenario. Denial, reconciliation, new confrontation. Inside, the living room smelled like her perfume. Candles lit silently on the mantel. Soft music filled dim light. She sat on the couch, legs tucked under her. She wore gray sweatpants, a white shirt, simple, unadorned, vulnerable. "Thanks for coming," she said, voice low. "Thanks for asking," I replied, voice cracking. Silence fell. "Why did you come back?" she asked. I sat, shoulders heavy. "I missed what I had. All of it. You." Her eyes glistened. I missed you too. But now what? I swallowed. I don't know. Smoke of regret. We talked about everything: betrayal, guilt, loneliness. I told her how Ava made me feel alive in every cruel way, how I hated it and needed it at the same time. How her eyes, her skin, they were markers of sin. She listened. Didn't interrupt. She asked questions, soft but piercing. Do you love me? She said finally. Time tore. I swallowed hard. Yes. Her look broke. But love didn't stop you. I nodded. Love almost wasn't enough. 5 mirrors in broken glass. I asked, is there space for us? She closed her eyes. I don't know. I shook my head. I understand. We sat together. Hours passed. We cried. We held each other. And for a moment the world slowed. But then she said softly, we both have ghosts now. Ashes between us. I squeezed her hand. Then we rebuild. She didn't let go instantly. She paused. We try. 6, at the limit. Weeks passed. Tentative steps, therapy sessions, evenings with coffee instead of candles, chats about nothing and everything. We rebuilt trust like patching broken shoelaces. Sometimes tight, sometimes loose, always fragile. I didn't see Ava again. She left town, texted me 3 days after I returned. I'm gone. No anger. No goodbye. I asked Claire if I could help carry dinner. We cooked together. Laughed at my burned garlic. She wiped tears of laughter off her cheek. We kissed. Not the wild, reckless kiss with Ava. This one was soft, gentle, familiar, forgiving. 7, smoke in the mirror. One evening, while washing dishes, I paused. Steam hid the reflection. I saw a man who was ashamed, but still here. A man who danced to the edge. A man who stood back up. I realized the ashes of betrayal still trailed behind me like a scent. I would never be free of that smoke, but I could choose how to move forward. I turned off the water, dried my hands, and stepped back to Claire. She touched my wet palm. We stood together in hum, not perfect, but real. Epilogue. I never cheated again. Did I earn forgiveness? Not fully. Not yet. But we chose each other again. A choice rooted not in lust or comfort, but humility and desire to heal. We walk slowly now, eyes open, hearts cautious but hopeful. And when I look in any mirror now, steamy or clear, I see the man I was, the man I became, and the man I'm still trying to be.